Jersey Gore! Welcome, coaches and fans, to a tactical review of the Chaos team. We'll be looking at the players, builds, development and tactics that you can use when implementing this team. Getting started right away, we have the three player types in the team, which I'll show you now. So we have the Beastmen, as you can see here. So get to show you guys off. We have Chaos Warriors, which look like so. And finally, the Feared Minotaur. We'll go into the player descriptions and their skills a little bit later on. Chaos is very much a bashy team. There is a saying that they will kill teams and then worry about touchdowns later, and there is definitely an element of truth to that. And then in my opinion, the Chaos team is a tier 2 to 3 team, meaning from a scale of 1 to 4, where 1 being very easy to use and 4 being very difficult to use. They are pretty much mid-range, whereas they have a very, very good strength game, but unfortunately do not have very many skills. So let's have a closer look at the players now. So first up we have the Beastmen, who are basically the linemen for the team. They're a 0 to 16 option, meaning that you can have anywhere between 0 and 16 of them, although every Chaos team is going to have at least a minimum of 6 of them. And they cost 60,000 crowns, and they have the following skills. They have horns. They have a movement allowance of 6, meaning that they can move 6 squares anywhere on the board. They have a strength of 3, they have an agility of 3, and they have an armor value of 8. So looking at those skills, they're basically a human lineman with horns that cost 10,000 extra. Now horns, if you don't know, is a skill which allows you on the blitz to get +1 strength. So effectively you can, if you want to hit a player that's strength 3 out of the way and you don't want to do a risky 1-die block, you can blitz and you'll hit him with 2 dice, and that's absolutely fantastic. Hopefully lots of pain comes that guy's way. The only unfortunate thing with the Beastmen, as with a lot of linemen, is that they do not have any other skills. So you get no block, no dodge, nothing special with these guys. But for what you're paying for, it's pretty fair. Next up, we have the powerful Warriors of Chaos. They are a 0 to 4 option, meaning that you can have anywhere between 0 and 4 of these, although most teams, once again, will definitely include a couple of these very, very talented players. They cost 100,000, they have no skills to start off with, and they are movement 5, strength 4, agility 3, and armor value 9. So looking at those stats, first of all, they're a strength 4 player with not really that many downsides, in fairness. A lot of strength 4 players will either have a particular drawback, such as the vampires with bloodlust and having to bite their own players, or they will just be very, very slow and unagile and won't be able to dodge very well. So these guys are able to punch and they're able to dodge, so they can do some ball handling, potentially do some touchdowns as well. Otherwise, they are your main strength guys, apart from one other very notable individual. Last but not least is the Minotaur. He is a 0 to 1 option, meaning you can have either 0 or 1 of him. He is 150,000 crowns, and he has Frenzy, Wild Animal, Mighty Blow, Horns, Loner, and Thick Skull. So, Minotaurs are very much a Marmite character, but their stats are 5 movement, 5 strength, 2 agility, and 8 armor. So, as you can see, the big headline is that they have a big strength 5 hitting machine with Mighty Blow. Even without skills, this particular character is very capable of putting plenty of people in the injury box. With Horns, you get a strength 6 blitz, and even with Wild Animal, you can use your blitz to your advantage and smash your opponents out the way, only requiring a 2+ rather than a 4+ to avoid Wild Animal. So, we've gone over the players. Let's go over some few builds that I've played around with. So, Jersey Gore is my tournament team. So, we do a lot of tournament builds. Somewhere between TV 1100 and TV 1200, which means that I'd have anywhere between 1 million and 100,000 or 1 million and 200,000 to spend on players. Going on the assumption that 1,100,000 is the most common. I'm just going to show you my team setup for these guys. So we have our 4 Chaos Warriors, we have 6 Beastmen, we have the Minotaur, we would have the 3 rerolls, which are costed at 60,000 each, and finally we would have an assistant coach, and that brings it exactly up to 1.1 million crowns or gold coins or whatever you want to call them. And personally, for myself, I think it very much works out. Most tournaments will allow you to have certain amounts of skills on your players, which is always nice. So that really helps when Chaos barely comes up with any skills whatsoever. And then the 3 rerolls keeps you pretty well balanced. Minotaur is very, very powerful. And with 4 strength 4 and 1 strength 5 guy, you'll definitely be able to put some people in the injury box, is the theory. So, if I was looking at a league setup, which is something that I'm going to be looking at in the future, and it's only TV 1000, what I would probably do is I'll drop, unfortunately, the Minotaur, and I would add in an extra Beastman, and that would be, or I'd have to drop my coach as well. So that would pretty much be dead straight 1 million crowns. With that, you're getting your 4 strength guys, or your strength 4 guys, your 4 strength 4 guys, right in the action. They have a chance for MVP and to skill up, and then your Beastmen also as well, but also they're much more reliable. The Minotaur, if he got killed, would be a massive blow to your bankroll, and that would be my personal opinion. Some people do think that you should perhaps go with 12 players and take off a reroll, which is completely fine if you want that extra player. Keep in mind though, if you're in a league format, rerolls costs do double after team creation, so that's why I would personally go with 3. Some people even go very, very extreme and say that maybe you should go for an extra reroll and drop some of the Chaos Warriors. Choices, of course, ultimately up to yourself, but this would be my recommendation if you're building either a tournament team, which we've shown you, or if it was TV 1000. So, regarding strategy, the Chaos team does have a few things they can play, but generally speaking, it is just going to be about trying to take as many of the opposition players off the pitch as possible to make it easy to advance the ball up the pitch. The speed of the team is pretty average between, as we've discussed previously, 5 and 6. So against speed teams like Elves, who we just happily are set up against today, they're going to have the legs on you and they are going to be able to reposition against you. Also against high agility teams, also Elves, they are able to dodge away from you a lot more. So you'll find that you're going to have to bring your blitzers onto them to try and remove players. This is not necessarily such a bad thing, because you can afford to bring your strength 4, armor 9 warriors into pretty much direct contact, and barring many assists or some guard on the opposition team, you should be able to stand up and fight your own corner. And especially when your players start to skill up and get things like block, get things like tackle, then forcing them to make rolls, they could potentially make a mistake and you may be able to capitalise. So, one main strategy, and most people already know about this, but for any new guys on the channel, there is such a thing as caging. So, this is the guy with the ball. He's got a blue ring around just to make it more visible for you guys. And as you can see, there is a guy on all 4 corners of this cage. And so basically within Blood Bowl, and I'll probably do a more in-depth tutorial regarding cages, he is now really, really hard to get to, because even if this, let's just say this elf does a crazy dodge, it's really difficult to actually get anything more than 1 or 2 dice against. So that's why cages are really, really useful. It's something that the Chaos team is going to rely on to keep the ball safe from any particular nasty players that want to dodge in, but also just to give you perhaps some options regarding rolling the cage up as well. So, one of my favourite strategies is what I like to call an outside blitz. Basically, what that involves, and I'll just go out, is I'll perhaps have a Minotaur or another strong player on the sideline, and I call a blitz. It's a 2+ for a Minotaur. So don't fill me now, dice. Yep, there you go, fantastic. And then literally we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we power one of the strength 3 players. Now, he has frenzy, so he will go forward. But even with that in mind, we'll just roll here, skull on the push, that's fine. So we can push him up some more, and then do another dice roll, and wow, I just rolled double skulls. So that's a really bad example. However, the general idea is you use one of your really, really strong players to kind of push some players out the way, kind of make some space, and then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to recage further up, and then basically just rinse and repeat until you drive your way up the pitch. Have some of your other guys to cover. Generally trying to keep everything as safe as possible. In the event of a kickoff, regarding strategies, I personally choose to receive, because I'll be able to get the ball and I'll have then 8 full turns of bashing the ever-living whatever happens to be the opposite side of the team. So basically the opposition. And we'll grind them into the dirt for 8 turns, hopefully take a few players away, and then subsequently, when they do their drive, next turn, try and see if we can get a turnover. If they happen to win the toss and they elect to receive, then it's a matter of trying to force them to score as quickly as possible if they are able to, or alternatively just knocking as many players down as we can and stealing it and scoring our own. So finally, let's discuss the skill up options. So as a Blood Bowl player plays a number of games and scores certain touchdowns or makes casualties or even makes passes, they will receive basically EXP. We call them SPP, which is star player points, and if you get a certain number, 6, 16, so on and so forth, and there are 6 levels of stardom as it were, you roll 2 dice, like so, and basically you will get a result, and then subsequently you'll be able to decide what you want. So you can either take a normal skill, or you can take a double skill, or you can have a stat increase. So starting with the Beastman, the skills available to himself is General and Strength, and the double skills that he has is Agility and Passing, and of course stat increases are available as well. So get a stat increase, take it right away, see how that develops your player. There is an argument between whether you want movement allowance or armor value. I would always go with movement allowance. It allows your player to move a lot further, and definitely with the Chaos team not being the quickest in the world, it's definitely welcome. Regarding skill access, general skills, I will definitely highly recommend Block if you're completely stuck for something, or Guard is another skill. Block being able to increase your survivability, Guard being able to basically assist blocks and make your drive a little bit easier by adding a key +1 strength in good places. Other skills that I'll definitely consider on a first one is Kick. Kick is a very good skill for Chaos because you can kick it deep if they have very slow players, and you can kick it close if they have really fast players, and then just surround them with death, which is always a nice thing, especially if you get a blitz. That's always lovely. And regarding double skills, there isn't really a lot that I would really want to give, unless I was lucky enough to get something like a double off my first roll. Pass is quite a nice option, purely because you don't have any passers on the team, and having someone who would be useful doing that is always a benefit, especially if you can get something like Sure Hands, and remember that you can give him Strong Arm as well because he has strength access. So those would be my immediate thoughts regarding a first skill up, taking any stat increases and those skills that we previously mentioned. Second of all, we have the Chaos Warrior. Very, very similar because his job is basically to kill people. So we will be looking at things like Block, like Guard. With the Chaos Warrior, because he's more likely to be kind of definitely in someone's face, Mighty Blow is very much an option. Also, there is mutations access for a lot of the guys, and with the Chaos Warrior being perhaps more of a valued player, someone you'll put in positions to get scoring, it's more important than perhaps the Beastman on the very, very first try. First thing you want for a Beastman, I would say, is Guard or Block, something very simple, whereas with the Warrior, there is something called Claw Bombing, which is basically Claw, piling on, Mighty Blow and Block. With all of those options available, it's basically a very, very good way of removing players because you get to reduce their armor value with Mighty Blow and Claw. Piling on allows you to have a second go at injuring the player, and block obviously keeps you on your feet should you go up against someone else with block, and knock someone down if they didn't have it. So you could go with something like Claw or Mighty Blow. Personally, once again, I'm a very safe person when it comes to these kind of things. I would prefer my guy to have guard or block, and then subsequently, if you really get deep and you're in a very, very long league, then something like a Claw Bomber might be an option for you. Finally, we have the Minotaur. Minotaur, of course, made a win and awesome and gets my double skulls in my videos when I don't need him to. Basically the same as real life. So, for that reason, I would definitely say with the Minotaur, some options for you would be preferably block, of course, is amazing, if you can get it on a doubles roll. Otherwise, something like grab is always quite interesting. Definitely Claw, because he does have mutations access, you can give him Claw right off the bat, and that's always hilarious because you're on Mighty Blow Claw, and you can start killing all the mens. And stat increases, of course, always completely welcome. Whether they're better than a doubles roll, if you do get a stat increase and a doubles roll, block is probably better than +1 strength, because you can already get +1 strength on the blitz, and you probably want to blitz with your Minotaur anyway. So that would be my personal opinion on that. Once again, not really going to go too deep into exactly what skill combinations. I would always say to all of my viewers that a lot of it is just read up on the CRP rulebook, and you know, have a feel as to what skills you do like, don't like. Play a few games, of course, and you know, I apologise to all my veterans I am speaking to. You know, trying to make this as user-friendly for any new players as possible. So I do thank you very much for bearing with me. But that is pretty much the Chaos team in its entirety for this Tactica. Did you like the video? Did you think it was made out of win and awesome? Did I get anything wrong? If I did, or if you did like the video, please do leave a comment in the comment section. It's going to be very, very helpful for me to try and develop videos which are going to be really, really helpful for the community, for the veterans, and for the new guys as well. Thank you for watching Jersey Gore. If you liked the video, please do subscribe, like and share with your friends, and leave a comment down below. And remember, if you like my players for rolling double skulls in the video when I'm trying to teach people, please upvote this annoying thing called luck. Bless Snuffle. Ta-ra.